Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Coke Boy here, and welcome to the Monday episode of the Good Living Podcast. I know it's been a week. It's been a it's been a very long, eventful week. And a lot of things happening in between. And today we're supposed to look at like stories of people who, your hooker story, you're being picked up by the police story, and you're getting the shit beat out of you story. And there's other things I'll talk about, but first I'm just going to go with my beating story because I can only remember one. I don't get into fights a lot. And in school, I was smaller than most people, so it was just unwise for me to get into fights. I hardly had this shit beat out of me because I was constantly breaking people's head. However, in junior secondary school, I had this guy that was always picking on me. He was fat, he was big, but I think experience teaches you stuff, right? But the summary of the whole thing is that when we fought, he didn't have to use punches or slaps on me. I think putting the weight of his body on me threw me to the ground. I think that was pretty much it. And I learned that weight is a big issue in fighting. That's why there's heavyweight and there's lightweight and middleweight in boxing and in wrestling and all of that because it has a big role to play. The guy that I went up to him like I don't think at that stage in life I was given to throwing punches, but I think he just pushed me a little bit or just leaned. I think the memory I'm having is like the guy just leaned into me and I went to the ground straight. He was too heavy. So yeah, luckily they separated us before he could like land punches. So that was that. Um, but I've been thinking recently. The reason I started this podcast, if you've been following my other episodes for over a year now, I wasn't more too given to entertaining people. Like, of course, I want to entertain you, obviously, but not like all this funny stuff on stories and stuff. I was like talking about real life things, and that's really, really what I want to do. Recently, I know I've diverted, and sharing funny stories and experiences, which is also fun to do. But I still feel a little bit lost when I don't do the other stuff I've been doing, talking about the country, talking about things that really do affect us. And I want to be the person that is saying stuff like that. I don't want to be one of those other people that are just online trying to entertain you, trying to make you laugh. I want to be the guy that is saying what you don't want to hear. And yeah, my views have increased a lot over the past weeks because of the things I've started talking about now. But everybody tells you that same stuff. And at some point, I believe you would seek truth. And if you seek truth, you'd come to me, right? And I feel that that is what I'm supposed to do. It's just not, it doesn't feel the same to me. So I'm just going to change it up a little bit. Obviously, it's a story for today about somebody getting picked up by the police. Really interesting. And it was a voice message. So I'm just going to play that at some point in the podcast. But I also want to talk about how it might change from now on. Occasionally, I will drop in those stories when I come across a beautiful one or an interesting one. But I'm just going to talk about things that are really important. Now, obviously, some things that I talk about, and if you look at my analytics here, my viewership or my listeners are 75% male and 25% female. That is mad. That was one of the things that made me switch up a little bit because I felt like it was unbalanced, uneven. I also, at some point, I realized I have to take some responsibility for this because I know that most of the time when I'm talking about men and women, female issues, I don't predominantly talk about it from a male perspective. And earlier on in the podcast, I used to always like to have female guests on to get their perspective, but the girls I got were not really the ones who I do have reasonable conversations with outside of the podcast are always giving me one excuse or the other. They're shy, this or that. They want to talk on microphone. And the ones who really want to be on the podcast, to be fair, uh, I don't think they will have much to contribute from what conversations I've had with them outside. So it's just a bit difficult for me. And then another thing is all of us has have saw this podcast with Karma Plug and these other girls there. And I want to talk on it, but before then, let me just explain something. Girls have the way they think, and men have the way we think. And a lot of the times, when somebody is explaining the way she thinks from her own perspective, it offends the other people. This is why women don't like listening to my podcast because a lot of things they find offensive. And I believe I'm saying the truth. And I believe I'm saying the truth when I'm talking is because the when certain ladies listen to my podcast and then DM me, we have conversations and they always tell me that I'm right, but the delivery, women can't digest the delivery, right? And there's this thing I've noticed there. Ladies, if somebody is talking bad about one lady, about even a hypothetical lady, there's this mob of women, everybody, all the ladies, like people, align, come together to defend. Like if I say it's wicked how in when it comes to divorce, a man has to pay child support even if the woman is any more than him. It's wrong. If I say something like that now, women who have never been married, who have never been in a child support situation, who don't even have boyfriends, people who are 19, everybody will come together and say so everybody can come together and argue that point with me. And I think that's the problem because when you call out a small percentage of women who do wrong, even the good ones that are not guilty of these things come out to fight, and it makes it, and then we just men just like to shut up at the end of the day because we don't want drama. So I think that's why most people don't talk about the things they should talk about. However, to equate it henceforth, when I'm talking, so I won't act like a male activist that is just campaigning and hitting down on women. That's not what I am. That's not who I want to be. But I'm going to say something though, because I've had conversations with men and about the way certain women's mindsets are when it concerns money and what men should do with money. At the end of the day, here's how we think, right? And I believe I'm speaking for most men. Is that when you have money and you have women who think that who say to you that they can tolerate anything as long as you give them money, then it opens a world of possibilities. It means you don't have to be committed to anybody. You don't have to be loyal to anybody. There's this saying that if you say a man without money does not deserve any loyalty, then who are you to tell a man when he has made money what he can or cannot do? So I feel like podcasts like that, right, are now trying to tell you to place money above everything else, above every value on earth. I'm sure you've heard enough people bashing this thing. But I'm just trying to say there's people who men who look at this thing like it's becoming clearer and clearer which women are, God, I'm stuttering, which women are good and which women are bad from the things you say. Like it's becoming clearer and clearer. When men are looking for women to settle down and be serious with, right? It's easy to choose now because people who talk and are always saying money this, money that, and they're always like, if you don't have money, go away, take his money and then dip it. All these things that are just trending online and about, if you don't have money, you're worthless to women. They see people like that and you're like, because at the end of the day, every man who has money and wants to be settled, they always think, even if there's no chance of you going broke, they always think, okay, but what if I go broke? What is going to happen? And if you're out there advertising and saying, if you have to provide before me, or not, you will see loyalty to the fullest once you're giving money. It means that, okay, even if I start giving you money, you start giving me loyalty, we now go find a relationship, we even get married, and then the money stops coming. It means you're going to switch up because now you have to now start facing where the money is and giving your loyalty to that thing. So if you now go and meet somebody at the time where I'm financially down and he's funding you, the loyalty will switch up no matter what happens in a relationship. And nobody wants that. No man wants that. So even if you support those people, just shut up because you're going to kill yourself at the end of the day when men are hearing you say without money. I mean, life is long. A lot of people are in your early 20s. Life is long. It's when you get to 27, 28, you're looking for men to marry. Nobody is coming, but you are fine. People are following you to sleep with you, but nobody is following you to be serious. And then you just see women saying, I will tell you that my friend likes you. We are 28. Tell your friend likes you. You say, what is it? Because now you start saying things like, I don't have time for play again. Oh, but before, when you were young and when you were actually pure, you had time for play. Now that you're almost expired and nobody really wants to carry you and keep as, you know, and treasure you because there's no treasure inside you again. You're saying you don't have time for play. You now go to church because you're hoping to find a good man there. Let me just leave this talk, I beg. It's long. So, that's just that about that. That's how women think. That's how we think. Doesn't matter if you have money or you don't have money. At the end of the day, your value is how you respect yourself and what you value. And if you value yourself and your body, and you're not giving it away to everybody for money, then we'll value you. And it's going to girls like that we keep for the long term, for the long game, for marriage and the rest. You that like money, will give you money and sleep with you, and that'll be it. Before you know, you're racking up body counts. All right. Next up on this agenda today is this whole naira thing. I know we have mixed feelings about it People are saying that this is bad. To be honest, I don't have a naira, I don't have a cash problem. I don't know how it is with everybody else. But to be really honest, me and everybody I'm interacting with, we don't have a cash problem. We are not one of those people you see fighting in the banks. And I want to believe that that is majority of Nigerians, because if you do have money in your account and the things you have to buy include clothes, fuel, and stuff like that. In most gas stations now, there are POSs, so you can actually use your card to make payment for fuel. You can use your card to make payment for clothes you want to buy. And if you're okay. Not everybody drives everywhere, but if you want to pay bike, for example, now it's small cash, right? So if you withdraw 5k a week, that will do for your transport. Both majority of people use both. Only few people use machine or Okada. So if you use both, all both guys take transfers. I even met one yesterday that takes that has POS in his car. So it's pretty easy. And now they say the 200 should be in circulation. The old 200 can be used. 100 naira also can be used for your bike or whatnot. And so it's the 501k that's actually the problem. And what do you need all that money for? When you can, if you want to make bulk transactions, you can just make transfers. So that's one thing I think is useful, especially during the election period where we all know that they bribe people to vote. I did in 2019. I did APO1, APO2. I worked as an INEC official in 2019. So I saw these things happen. I took money, right? I took cash. Yeah, I didn't manipulate election anyway. They just gave us money. I don't know the copper that was our girl then. She knows what she did or whatever she did to earn us that money. But I'm saying cash is an essential tool to manipulate elections. And fuck what this guy was saying on Arise. Who was his name again? Sef? This dog guy. Shit. Um, this lawyer that I used to respect before he now started campaigning for Tinubu and lying on TV was saying that the governors need cash for to buy mineral and coke and all these things for the INEC officials, and that is why they are clamoring and fighting. And Erufa is literally saying that in Kaduna everybody should use all the old notes. It is going to be usable in Kaduna. If you see, I don't know if you guys watch the news, but if you watch the news, if you see the way they are fighting over this cash issue, and I'm talking about the elites, not you and me, and they will say Nigerians are suffering. When we were, when COVID was there, right, and everybody was hungry, and everybody was discovering palliatives in their states. The governors of maybe they were finding palliatives in the south, right, in the southwest or Yoruba land. All the governors now in the northeast and south, north central, and the rest of the places, nobody came out and said, you know what, everybody remove the palliatives you've been hiding. Nigerians are suffering. Nobody said that. When ASU was on strike just a few months ago, for 8 months straight, nobody came out and said, Nigerians are suffering, students are suffering, this. FG do something. No. Now, because we know that these people have billions of naira in cash, and nobody's saving billions of naira into 200 naira notes or even for 500. It's 1k. And because we know they have all this money, either to use on election day or to use to lobby for one law or the other, or to use to pay the ashawo that they used to carry, all this money that they have is in cash. And when you change it, it's all illegal money, by the way. So, and when you now change the currency and say everybody should start using the new one, they cannot take 4 billion to the bank and go and deposit, because they will now ask them, how did you get 4 billion? You know, highest they can do is 100 or 200 million, which is small money to these guys. So they've changed the 100 million, 200 million, but there's still billions left that they can't change. And that is why they are so angry about it. Have you seen governors or the elites fight about anything like this before in your life as a Nigerian? Never in my life. I've not seen. And it's not for your interest, not for you and me, it's for them. So you have to play the long game. You have to suffer in the short term. If cash is scarce now, trust me, it won't be scarce forever. All right, just suffer now, this short term, because trust me, these elites that you want to see suffer, I think I want to see them suffer, and I'm sure you want to see them suffer. To these people that are spoiling your country, these elites that you want to see suffer, they are suffering. They will lose billions if this thing takes full effect, which it will. And you're suffering because you're 20k, 30k. Just suffer it a little bit. Your money is not even lost. It's just that you can't access it as much as you want to, which is even helping you save if you look at it from the positive side. So ride it out, yeah. Suffer it a little bit, because I'm telling you, they are suffering more, and they can't rig elections now because, please, there's some people their price for election is 5,000. You need how many? You need like 20 200 naira notes, before you can bribe one person. There are people who their own price to change vote to be 100,000 or 50,000. How many 200 naira notes will you even have before you start having all those people? So it's going to be more difficult. So I think I just urge everybody be patient with the government. If there's, I'm not going to even give Buhari credit for this. This is what he should do, amongst other things over the past 8 years that he has not done. So it's he's just trying to make up ground, but it's commendable still. But it's not something I'm going to dwell on because he's a fuck up man naturally still because he's still declaring. I know his party is APC and he has to openly come and support Tinubu. What. But still, it doesn't mean we should give him any credit for what he has done now with changing the currency. It's a good move, but there are dozens of other good moves he would have made in the last 8 years, 8 years that he didn't make. So that one is his business. So yeah, like we said, for the giveaway then, somebody won that watch. There's no evidence I'm going to give you, but as long as the person doesn't come out to complain that yo, I won the watch and or maybe I'll snap myself giving the person the watch or whatever. But somebody won that watch. We'll do another one soon enough. So yeah, somebody has a police story. They gave me a getting beat up story, but I didn't really like that story. Plus, my podcast is always too long, so let me just cut it down and play you the story of somebody that got arrested by police. A very intriguing story.
I was in front of school doing my usual thing, and then the police came and they picked me up. I was like, they came to me. I was like, you need to follow us to the station. I said, me, why? No, I think you have the wrong person. They kept following me, following me. I was like, that's I need to follow them to the station. The DPO wants to see me. What? I was so confused. I said, are you sure you don't have the wrong person? They said they don't have the wrong person. I'm the one. So I followed them to the station. When I got there, that was when they were telling me that they're looking for somebody. His name is Johanna. I was the last person that they saw with him. What happened to this man? Wow. It turned out that that guy that carried me into my area that day, they never found him. You understand? They didn't see him after that day. So it was just shocking and I had to just respect myself. I said, me, I don't know. We entered he took me home that day and left. I didn't see anybody. He now said, okay, did anybody stop us along the road? I said, no, nobody stopped us along the road. Did you see anybody when you were there? I said, yes, those boys that normally sit down under that tree, they were there, but they're always there every day. So, I said, well, ever since that night that he took me, that he carried me, his brothers, I mean, his people in front of the school, they have not seen him and they saw when he carried me, and that was the last time ever that they saw the man. I just told him I don't know what happened. Then later when they now let me go that day, I now went to ask one of the guys that was in my school. He was there because his friend showed us. I said, what happened to that guy that day? They said, he told me that they killed him that night. They beat him up, killed him, and burnt him along with his Okada. Wow, but he said I should never say it. In that, what did you tell the police? Because they were all aware now that the police had picked me up. And if I tell the police what I know, they will come and arrest all of them. Because they were arresting a bunch of them for killing people, you understand? From they even picked some people said. So he said that I should not say what I know. Me, I know because if I say what I know and they arrest them, they will come for me. And I was in my final year that time. There's no way I can start running away from school. That is how police will pick me this morning. In the evening, those boys will come to my house and, like looking at me, threatening me that I hope you didn't say anything. They'll be coming one after the other every day. I hope you did not say anything. Telling me, don't say anything. Don't tell them anything. Just say this, just say that. Hammer the youth leader of that town came to my house telling me the same thing. Don't say anything. what. They're trying to be friendly, but I know that these ones are not being friendly at all. Oh. That was how every day, every night, I'll be at home. I'll hear footsteps all around my compound. Like somebody is coming to watch me. They were watching me, like they were seriously watching me in school. Somebody is there watching me on the road. Somebody is somewhere watching me, seeing when the police is asking me questions. And it was a terrible time for me in school. I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep. I was just on edge all through. I had to leave my house for a while. Anyways, that's it.
Wow, insane stuff. So yeah, by the way, this happened like 4 or 5 years ago, so it's a really old story. In case you're trying to make out one thing or the other, it won't be valid anymore. So yeah, I remembered one thing again. One person, one set of people that this cash issue is actually affecting is people you have to tip. Security men, waiters, waitresses, people who work in public places where you would normally give them tips. Now there's no cash. It's just difficult for you to tip anybody. And those are the only people that are really being affected by this thing. But hopefully, when the 200 naira is being in circulation, the 501k you want to be giving them, you can pack it and give them, or maybe it will reduce it to 200. Let everybody earn their money. All right, that's the episode for today. Thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful week. Bye bye.